on an Indian reservation, almost everyone had a spooky story. I've had a few experiences, but nothing overtly spooky. But one of the best ones I've ever heard was from one of my uncles when he was younger. He grew up on the Standing Rock Reservation, Fort Yates specifically. South of Fort Yates on the South Dakota side is a small town called Mobridge. It's about 30 miles away, and when it's nice out, people from Fort Yates will walk that 30 miles to Mobridge for the bars and whatnot, usually catching a ride part of the way. It's an ugly little county road, and because of alcoholism, it's so prevalent down there, there's been a lot of drunk driving deaths on that road. Anyway, one morning, he's walking back from Mobridge after a night of drinking. It's like 6 in the morning, and he said he figured he just slept and was sober enough to walk back. He said he had been walking for about an hour or so when he came over a hill and saw a girl walking from the field to meet him on the road. He said she was a native and dressed in regular jeans and whatnot, but like super pretty. So he figured she just was some girl walking down to Mobridge or up to Fort Yates. She meets up with him on the side of the road and starts talking to him. He said she was asking him if he was hungry and saying he looked like he was tired and that he should come over with her to her home so she could eat and rest. He asked her where she lived because he didn't see a house, and she pointed to the trees about a mile away. He thought the trees probably blocked the house so he couldn't see it. He said he just was convinced to go with her when he looked down and saw that her feet were backwards. He said he froze, stopped talking, turned around, and started walking back toward Mobridge. She was following him, telling him that he was going to die on that road, and he would just come back to her home because it'll be warm, and that he could sleep with her. But he just ignored her and kept going, not saying a word. He said she must have followed him for about 10 or 15 minutes before a car coming from Fort Yates, stopped and picked him up. As he was getting in the car, she kept telling him not to get in because he was going to die in that car in an accident. When he got in and they started driving, he asked the people in the car if they heard what she said. They told him that he was walking alone. In our culture, we have things whose name roughly translate to tree witch, and that he was fully convinced that what was talking to him was that in the morning. The story continues. So like I said, the name we have for them roughly translate to tree witch. In our culture, there are spirits who have never been human and who are more of the earth than anything, like river spirits, the wind, tall grass, even certain rocks that are known as grandfathers. Tree witches are some of these kind of spirits. Their stories are told about them usually involved in trying to lure young guys and lead them astray or get them lost. They'll show themselves to these guys as young, pretty chicks or as a girl they know to the guy to go with them. I don't know why though. Maybe to use their bodies after they've died of starvation as fertilizer or something, I don't know. Sometimes though, they'll show themselves as an old woman or an old woman's face on the side of a tree to scare those who are doing things they aren't supposed to be doing. Cutting down trees without an offering is a big one. Or drinking alcohol while being in possession of a medicine bundle. Basically not showing reverence for certain things. I had one experience with what I think was a true witch. It wasn't as blatant as my uncle's story, and it could have just been me hearing things. But when I first started seeing my ex, she lived with her mom out of the county. Her house was behind a hill, so you couldn't see it from the highway. It was a good 100 yards from the highway to the house. It was during the winter, and that night we got hella snow, so I had to park my car at a bar parking lot down the road and walk the rest of the way. I did that during the daytime, so I didn't even think about it when I'd be leaving. So come time to leave, it's about 2 or 3 in the morning. So she offers to try to drive me down there. We get to the top of her hill and realize that she's probably gonna get stuck in the snow. So I'm like, I have no problem walking. So we say our goodbyes, and she turns around and goes back to the house. I walk down the highway, and I stop to listen just in case any cars or trucks are coming. It's like 50 yards to the approach to the bar parking lot, so I figured I'd just run when I get to the highway. I stop and listen and start running, when behind me in the bushes in the ditch, I hear a woman's voice say, "Why are you running?" In a kind of sing-song voice. For a split second, I think maybe my ex had drove down and was messing with me, but I realized I would have heard her drive down, and there's no way she would have got down there that fast on foot. I looked behind me and see that no one was there, so I started running. I unlocked my car and dove in. I call her as soon as I get in the car and tell her what happened, and that she was like, holy crap. Then I could hear her mom asking me what happened, so I know that couldn't have been her.